You just go from not making no decisions for real to all of a sudden making decisions. And then it's like, oh, hold on. You also don't want to sit on the sidelines of life while everybody around you makes decisions. Trust me, that ain't fun. You are valuable. Your decisions, your thoughts, your opinions.
And that feels good to me.
Hey everyone, I'm JusmeShakoyahD and welcome to my bubble. This channel is for Black women who are on their self-love journey and are learning to put themselves first and take off their superwoman capes. My bubble is my safe space for me to express myself as I inspire you to do the same. This is Love the Creative Black Woman, a series where we self-care through crafting as we connect on our self-love journey together. Hey guys! We've been talking about trusting ourselves and trusting our gut. And honestly, I've been talking like it's the easiest thing in the world, is what I realized. Okay, maybe not like it's the easiest thing in the world, but I have been talking like it's easier than it actually is, because in all actuality, we have been trained to not trust our guts. Literally, in our everyday decisions, we are trained to listen to other people. We're trained when we grow throughout school. We listen to the teacher. First of all, we listen to our parents to start, which isn't a bad thing, right? All right, we listen to our parents. Then we go to school. We listen to our school teachers. Then we go to church. We listen to the people at church. We listen to the pastors. We listen to this person. We listen to that person. We listen to our elders. We listen to people that we feel like are doing other things. And it's not bad to listen to people, but the problem comes in when you listen to everyone else and don't listen to yourself. When you are constantly second guessing yourself. And as somebody who I know for a fact I used to seek a lot of validation from my loved ones, it's not always easy to just trust yourself. I know firsthand that it's a habit. It's literally a habit that you have to break. And you might not look at it as a habit. You might just look at it as, oh, well, my brother, he's the one who's into fashion, so like he would know if this looks good. Or, I mean, even my sister, because I used to be like, oh, I used to want to be like my sister. I was my older sister, so I used to want to dress like her and stuff like that. So I'm like, let me check with them, make sure everything looks great. And I really didn't need to. But what I realized in going on my self-love journey is that I really need to validate myself. And in doing so, it's more so of a trusting that I made the right decision. Or every decision, I don't need to ask, all right, well, what do you think? Like, it's nice to ask if you just want to get people's opinion. But if like you never refer back to yourself and make the decision based off of what you think, you only making decisions based off of what everybody else thinks or says or does, or what they told you on the internet, because they be telling you a lot of stuff on the interwebs. Honestly, it'd be a lot of things. Then it's like, why? You're not trusting yourself at that point. You're trusting everything and everybody else, but you're not trusting yourself. And it seems like it's easier, right? I think that in our minds, as a former non-decision maker, that's what I'm going to call myself, a former non-decision maker, I used to think that it was so much easier for other people to make the decision because I would just feel overwhelmed. I found out that it was just easier for me to go ahead and just make the decision. I found that out as I got older and after I got on my self-love journey and after I decided to live my life for me. Or I don't want to say decided to live my life for me, but I decided to figure out what that looked like. And it wasn't easy. Not making decisions is a decision, number one. But also it's a habit. It is a habit. And you know what habits are? There are things that can be broken. There are things that can be changed. You can change a habit. Like, so if you aren't making decisions now, if you aren't trusting yourself now, you can change that. That's not something that you have to live with for the rest of your life. You don't got to be like, oh, that's just me. That's just who I am. It doesn't have to be who you are. It doesn't have to be. And yes, it sounds so much easier. It sounds so much easier for somebody else to make the decision. And sometimes it is easier because when you are in superwoman mode all the time, and you are bombarded with having to make decisions about different things at work or within your career or in your day-to-day stuff, if you're making decisions on behalf of other people all day, then you want to come home and be like, all right, I don't want to make no decisions. Can somebody else please make this decision? And I feel like from time to time that is okay. But recognize that you're making the decision to have somebody else make the decision, right? You still have to make that choice too. But when you just come home and you don't decide to make any decisions, you don't decide to let anybody take the reins, you don't decide to, have control over your day or whatever, at that point, the chips gonna fall where they're gonna fall. And even still, when you decide to let somebody else make a decision, whatever happens and whatever comes of their decision, that still is a reflection of you because you decided to let them have the reins. And I'm saying this, but I also don't want you to feel like you have to control everything. That's not what this conversation is. This conversation isn't about controlling everything. This conversation is about putting yourself first mentally, about you trusting yourself so that when you do make a decision, you know that it's a sound one. And you can also release control of every situation. Like, that means that you don't have to control or try to manipulate the outcome of things. You don't have to. But you also don't want to sit on the sidelines of life while everybody around you makes decisions. That's not fun. Trust me, that ain't fun. And then you're looking at other people like, dang, I wish I would have did that. That would have been nice. That would have been nice. And you had the opportunity, you just didn't make the decision. And in not making the decision that the universe made was that the opportunity has now passed. So for me, as I'm learning to trust myself, I'm learning to lean into my joy. I'm learning to look within for my decisions. And if my decision involves somebody else, then I'm going to still make sure I have my stance, at least to a certain extent. I don't want to be like unwavering, like, you can't change my mind. But it's like, I'm going to have like my particular thoughts or my opinion on whatever the situation or decision is. And then as I'm having the conversation with the other person, we can make the decision together. But I need to understand what my viewpoint is and trust that it's valuable. My decisions are valuable. My thoughts are valuable. All of it. Like, you are valuable. Your decisions, your thoughts, your opinions, you have them because they are valuable. What you have is valuable. What you have is unique. What you have is valuable. And until you know that, until you trust that, trusting that that is actually the case, then, just gonna let other people make the decisions. And that's fine if that's what you want. If that is what you want. But if you want to put yourself first, and if you want to learn to take better care of you, if you are learning to take off your superwoman cape, you still have to trust you. You got to trust that you even pick the right person to take over when you do take off your superwoman cape. You got to trust that you sitting down in silence for 5 minutes when you first get home is a good decision, is a valuable decision. You got to trust that you are loved, you are welcomed, that people in the world need you. You're here for a reason. So that's why you got to trust yourself. It's so wild because for so long I was not trusting myself. And I know I'm supposed to be doing these flower pens, but I'm kind of getting caught up in this conversation. It was a long time where I just wasn't trusting myself. And even still now, like, I have to remind myself that I trust me. I trust me. Like, I literally tell myself that every night before I go to bed. Like, one of my values that I write every night is I trust myself. Just as a reminder to let myself know, like, you made great decisions today. You will make great decisions again tomorrow. But you have to trust yourself. And I don't know, it's a beautiful thing. It's fun. It's fun here, guys. But I do think that it's a thing that we have to remember. We rely so much throughout our lives, especially when growing up, on other people and their decision making skills and their opinions. But once we reach a certain age, even when we're younger, it's important to know the value of trusting ourselves. And it's okay to like seek counsel. It's okay to talk to other people, to get different points of views. But when you are doing that and always discrediting your own point of view, that's when it becomes detrimental. That's what I found. That's what I experienced. So now I'm here letting you know that you don't have to discredit your experience, because you're needed. Your experience is needed. Your point of view is needed. And I think that us now as adults, it's a good thing for us to encourage young women to also value their decision-making skills and to teach them how to make decisions. That's another thing. You know, you just go from not making no decisions for real to all of a sudden making decisions. And then it's like, oh, hold on. I got to do this myself. I got to think about this. Like, what did you do to make this decision? Because I would like to make a good decision. So like, it's a muscle. That's what it is. It's not just a habit. It is a muscle that has to be developed, because you literally go from not making any decisions for yourself to suddenly you're booking all the appointments. You are going grocery shopping for yourself. You might even have a child suddenly that you are responsible for making decisions for. And at that point, it's like, oh wow, what do I do with this? But it's a muscle. Like, it's literally a muscle. And for me, okay, I'm calling people. I was calling people a lot. I felt like I was a baby adult. Probably, I'm gonna say up until I was 27. So like, I'm gonna be honest. Okay. Cause they don't tell you about adulthood. We'll talk about that on another episode, but they don't be telling you about adulthood. Okay. And I felt like I was a baby adult. So I needed to seek counsel. Okay, on certain things. And sometimes I still do. It's okay to ask people for help. It's okay to ask people for help. But you have to make a decision to actually ask people for help. So it is a muscle. It is a habit. Like, you have to get into the habit of working the muscle that is trust in yourself. And it's kind of funny to say and to think about, because innately you think that, oh, yeah, I trust myself. Of course I trust myself. You know, I'm a good person. I do this thing. I blah, blah, blah. Made it this far. Blah, blah, blah. Like, my experiences have been so great. Or on the opposite end, maybe your experiences haven't been great, but you've made sound decisions so that now you've been able to turn your life around, or you're working to make sound decisions so that you can turn your life around. Whatever it is, it's still you practicing trusting yourself. You reminding yourself like, okay, I made a good decision today. Great things happened today. And it literally is a muscle. Dear Black woman, just like you work your physical muscles, make sure you are working your muscle of trust, working to trust yourself more each and every day, but also trusting that you know what decisions to make, or you know who to ask for help, or you know when to sit down, because that's a big one. I'm learning about that one. Knowing when to sit down and sit still. But at the end of the day, you are learning who you are. You are learning your body. You are learning yourself. You are learning your faith. You are learning your soul. And you are trusting all of that. But remember that it takes time. Don't rush through the process. Trust the process. Trust the process of trusting yourself, because like I said, it is a habit. And also just remind yourself to be patient with you, because you deserve all of the love that you desire. But that love and that trust starts within. I see you, and I hear you, and I feel you. Have an amazing day, and make sure you're taking care of yourself. But trust that you will make good decisions today and tomorrow and the next day. Love, the Creative Black Woman. Thank you guys for joining me for another episode of Love, the Creative Black Woman. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend, and tell a friend, tell a friend. Drop some flower emojis if you made it to the end of this episode, and if you liked what you heard. Let me know your thoughts below. But also, if you like this episode, you will love the next episode. that is linked, so make sure you click it. You'll be able to get these flower pins using the description and the link below, and I will see you guys later. Bye!